ADHD is not your problem. ADHD is not the reason why you've got brain fog. It's not even the fact that you're spending your entire day scrolling like a little monkey online. It's actually your diet. What you eat is creating all of these problems. The reason I say this is because myself, as an engineering student, I've been facing this problem many times. I've been eating like a seemingly healthy diet. I thought I was eating a perfect diet without any ultra-processed food, and still my brain fog was shit. And that happened because I wasn't aware about some nuances and some ingredients that I consumed, which I'm gonna talk about in this video, but more on that later. The reason why you cannot focus in class or at work is just because of what you eat and how you behave during your day. The reason for that is the evolutionary mismatch. You've probably heard this term, maybe not, but this basically means that how you live is misaligned with what our technology provides us with. As you may know, there's a lot of vegan propaganda online and a lot of other bullshit stuff, people talking about how you should eat a balanced diet of mostly plants, not too much, no meat because meat is dangerous. This is all a bunch of fucking bollocks. I'm gonna dive right now into the evolution of humans. I've been researching extensively actually how we evolved and what we've been eating during our evolution, and there was this one very interesting study from 2021 which actually found that humans, for most of our evolutionary period, have been apex predators. We've been hunting things into extinction, like the moment humans actually got to Australia and North America, because we didn't evolve next to the animals that lived there, in a matter of like 2000 years, all the locals were gone. The local animals like giant crocodiles, the giant sloth, the giant predators, everything giant was eaten because eating giant animals was actually the most energetically efficient way of getting nutrients for humans. We figured this out pretty quickly because our brains grew, and our brains grew because we started hunting. Your body cannot support both a huge brain and a huge gut. And as you may be aware, our closest relative which is alive today, which is chimpanzees, are mostly like frugivores. They eat mostly fruit, sometimes other vegetables, and only 2% animal products. And the reason for that is because they are still dumb. They may be a little smarter than other animals, but they're much more primitive than humans, and the reason for that is because their brain didn't grow and their gut stayed big. Our brains grew, which allowed us to hunt, and actually for a very long period of time, like I'm talking 1.9 million years, humans have been consuming predominantly animal products and some fruit on the side and some tubers and nuts occasionally. This is what we've been eating, and this is what has allowed us to evolve and get big brains. Now, modern agriculture cannot support that for 8 billion people. And this is why everyone is preaching eating less meat and more vegetable products and grains, this healthy fat and whole grain stuff. This isn't gonna help you. I've tried. I've been eating one of the healthiest diets. I was eating a Mediterranean diet, the diet which was considered the healthiest in the entire world. And I was actually staying consistent and not eating any junk food while I was on a Mediterranean. And the thing is, traditional Mediterranean diet may allow you to plow fields and do physical work, but if you're doing intellectual work, if you're doing mental work, if you're an engineer, a doctor, a lawyer, someone who is thinking to make his money, which is like the case of most people nowadays, this is not for you. You don't need these many carbohydrates when you work. And so my mistake was that I was going full Mediterranean, so I switched to olive oil, I switched to a lot of vegetables and nuts and healthy whole stuff. So I was eating like whole grain rice and whole wheat pasta. But these things, like, they didn't help me at all. In fact, they made me crash like shit. And the reason for that is because we didn't evolve to eat these things. As much as they seem to be good and nice and great dishes and healthy, for your brain, these things suck because you get an insulin spike, you get a sugar spike, which your pancreas tries to reduce with all the insulin, and now you get a thing which is called reactive hypoglycemia. This means that now you get not enough sugar. Your body is not a perfect system. You've got flaws. It was designed to function during the period when we were hypercarnivores. Nowadays it doesn't work anymore, and now we get brain fog. And I used to suffer so much from this that I would kind of become depressed and think that it was my fault, that it was like my brain just wouldn't work and I shouldn't even become an engineer. Like, I literally questioned my fucking future. So once I switched to to eating mostly things like beef, eggs, milk, cheese, and then only on the side I would have mostly fruits and occasional other vegetables, because fruits are actually the parts of the plants that they want you to eat. Other parts of the plants not so much. Like a plant wouldn't like you to eat its leaves, its roots, its stems and its seeds, most importantly. So naturally plants evolved to have defense mechanisms against people and animals who eat them. But they want you to eat the fruit, because when you eat the fruit and you allow the seeds to get through your digestive system without crushing them with your teeth, you're actually creating this really nice substrate for the new plants to grow. Like you're literally dumping a bunch of fertilizer mixed in with the seeds on a new place. So like it's perfect for plants. So they're not gonna poison you if you eat the fruit, like at least in most cases. But when it comes to animals, you can actually eat most animals you can find around you. You can get away with eating raccoon, with eating cats, dog. Like I'm not suggesting that you should do that, but if you like pick random animals, you can eat them most of the time, which is not the case of the plants. If you go out into the wild and try to eat random plants, most likely you'll get nothing from it. Like you'll get 0 calories. Or you're gonna get diarrhea, or you're gonna die in severe cases. So eating plants was not really our thing. But plants, and especially grains, are actually very easy to grow. So this is why humanity has been all in on agriculture for all this time, growing all this rice, all this wheat, all this barley and stuff. This is because it's easy to grow, highly caloric, and we can survive with that. And it's especially like good for physical work. Like if you're doing physical work, you would be glad to have tons of carbohydrates. But if you're doing mental work, it's not gonna work for you. I used to eat at my school, at my university restaurant when I was in my first year of college. And even though it looked kind of healthy, like most of the time it was rice and some vegetables and maybe a vegan steak or occasionally meat, and sometimes it would be pizza with a salad. But here's the actual photo that I took during one day because I found it cool. Well, in fact it's not cool at all, because it's gonna make you crash. And there's been so many painful stories of me not being able to actually focus in class and not being able to do the work that made me completely discontinue eating like that. I stopped eating rice, I stopped eating pasta. Like I can have them occasionally, like as a cheat meal. That's it. I'm not eating them, even if they're whole wheat, healthiest type. So what I eat now instead is mostly beef, especially beef heart. If you're a student, if you don't have money, buy beef heart. It's literally twice as cheap as normal beef muscle. Like you can find it almost everywhere, and it tastes the same as muscle. It's just got a slightly different texture, which I got used to really quickly. In my local supermarket, which is Carrefour in France, I can find high quality beef heart for like $10 a kilogram, which is insanely cheap for red meat. And it's actually much healthier than other cuts of beef. Like it's pretty lean, it's pretty high protein, it's got coenzyme Q10, which people actually supplement with because it's really good for your heart. Well, apparently eating heart is good for heart. Well, who would have guessed? But here we are. The only other organ meat that I eat right now is beef liver, and only 100 grams a week, not more than that, because it's actually so packed with the nutrients. The list is up here because I'm not going to list them all, but there's insane amounts of it. You shouldn't eat more than 100 grams of beef liver a week. You should like separate it in small bits if you can, but you can also eat it in one go. Other than that, ground beef, occasionally pork, rarely chicken, and sometimes lamb when I feel like being fancy, but it's quite expensive, so not always. I always cook it in beef tallow or duck fat. Other fats that I use is single-sourced organic extra virgin olive oil and raw butter, which comes from a French region of Nouvelle-Aquitaine, which is basically the capital of butter of the world. So yeah, this is the like 4 fats that I use. I'd also eat eggs, but always cook egg whites. I just don't like raw egg whites, and they have anti-nutrients. They're not supposed to be consumed raw. Don't drink eggs. I don't usually eat fish because it's just kind of expensive to find high quality fish which is not contaminated with arsenic and mercury and lead. So what I do is I just supplement with omega-3 fatty acids, which are essential for your brain. If you want to be able to think, you need these fatty acids. Your brain is made out of them. You cannot make them in your body, you've got to get them from outside. When it comes to plants, I usually eat cherry tomatoes and olives with mozzarella because like these two are really easy to find and don't take much time to prepare, so convenience. Occasionally some arugula to make a nice Mediterranean salad, but it's more like a cheap meal. No broccoli, no disgusting Brussels sprouts, because these things are absolutely abhorrent. Like, your body just rejects them. I don't know. Like, your stomach can sense that they are not good for you. So get rid of those, like, unless you absolutely want to eat them. Now, when it comes to fruit, I usually eat whatever I want, but a really important rule: I don't eat them randomly at the day and in random quantities. I approach this strategically. For example, if I'm doing physical work, I'm going to the gym, I'm going for a bike ride, I would usually take some fruit with me or eat it before I go. But otherwise, if I'm about to do intellectual work, I would never eat 2 apples. Like, this is just a no-brainer. It doesn't serve you. Stay in ketosis for your work. And when you go and exercise, you're doing something high intensity, or you're walking around, you can have a fruit. I usually have my fruits also at the end of the meals. Like, I like going for a walk after a meal. It really helps with my insulin control and just digestion. 1 or 2 kiwis or mandarins or an apple or a banana usually is what I go for. When it comes to dairy, I would kind of eat whatever I want to, because I live in France. It's like the country of cheese. There is so much good cheese in here. Like, you're not gonna skip on dairy because of that. There's a bunch of raw cheese, a bunch of raw dairy, which is really good. But if you want to find raw milk, it's a little bit more tricky. But there's online services which allow you to actually get it from high quality farms which are certified to produce safe raw milk. So that's what I eat. It drastically improved my health, it drastically improved my productivity. I can finally sit down and focus for hours. I have no problem with that. And the only rule is you cook everything yourself. You don't buy anything outside unless it's like you are 100% sure there are no seed oils, there's no added sugar or some weird industrial additives. I cook all of my meals at home. It's cheap. I like cooking, and if you're gonna say that as a student it's gonna waste your time, this is not true. Like, you're probably already scrolling and wasting your time online. Instead, you could learn a skill which is gonna fix your health, make you more productive, and also give you something cool to brag about. No brainer. I'm gonna cook 3 times a day if I need to, and I'm okay with that. And the funny thing is, it actually gave me much more time. Right now I'm doing a master's in mechanical engineering, and even if I'm studying, I'm gonna cook something in the evening. Gladly, when you're eating mostly meat, it's very easy. It takes like 15 minutes to cook something up with that. So yep, insane game changer. Go and do it now. Don't waste any more time. Don't go and scroll and do something else. Go out there, buy something and cook it. And you're gonna discover how interesting the universe of cooking actually is, and how easy it is to cook for health when you know what to do. So that's it. Go ahead and do this now. See you next time.